Hey, welcome back. I have another video for you guys, and today I want to talk about the top 10 things that I want to see in every single kitchen. And when I'm designing a project or I'm doing a project for myself, these are the key points that I try to squeeze into any kind of design because they are just life-changing when you are working in your kitchen, and I think they're absolute must-have. So that's actually a good word. The 10 must-haves in every single kitchen. So make sure to watch this video all the way to the end. You'd be surprised by some of the little things that will really make a difference. So make sure to watch this video all the way to the end so you don't miss out when you're designing your new kitchen. Hey everybody, before we get started, my name is Kerstin, kitchen designer with King's Kitchen, and hopefully your favorite kitchen designer in the Pacific Northwest and cabinet supplier. And on top of that, if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. We are talking about everything related to kitchen design, remodeling, tips and tricks, everything you need to know to be your own designer, but also your own general contractor on your next kitchen project. Okay, without further ado, let's just jump right in. My top 10 must-haves that you need in every kitchen, and if you can follow these or try to squeeze them into your kitchen will be a success. And these are just my personal thoughts of designing kitchens and kind of living in some of the projects that I do. I do a lot of real estate investing for myself as well. So number one, and this is probably a super easy one, but I still see people not doing it, and that is having a hidden or pull out trash. And you guys maybe know, maybe not, I don't know, I say it sometimes, but I do have dogs. I have 2 big Rhodesians, and those rascals, I remember in my old kitchen, they would love to get in the trash. It was just a single trash standing somewhere, and it was just craziness trying to keep them out of the trash. So in my current home and in any kind of kitchen that I'm going to live in moving forward, I am making sure that I find at least a 15-inch or an 18-inch spot. That's what you need for a pull-out trash, and it's just awesome because they can't find it and they can't stick their noses in it anymore. Number 2, if you have the space for this, okay, get a tall pantry. 24 inches deep, sit it next to your refrigerator, excuse me, sit it next to your refrigerator or sit it next to any kind of tall unit you have, but you will love it, okay? I understand everybody wants to have as much countertop space as they preferably can get, but having a pantry unit in the kitchen is just also life-changing, especially if you don't have a walk-in pantry. Now, if you have a walk-in pantry, yes, I get it, it's not that important, but if you don't, try to squeeze one in. In this kitchen, I did a video on this kitchen if you want to check it out. It's linked in the comments below, but I don't have a walk-in pantry in this house, and it was super important to me to get a tall pantry, and I had to wiggle some things around to squeeze that tall pantry. Matter of fact, I ended up with a smaller refrigerator, I think a 30-inch refrigerator, just so I can fit my pantry because it was so important. And if you're doing a pantry, make sure you can get the rollouts with the pantry. And just a little tip on that, sometimes getting the pantry with the rollout from the manufacturer can be pretty costly, and you can order the rollout separate and just have them installed in the field by your installer. Number 3, a deep cabinet above your refrigerator. And a lot of people come to me, they say, oh, Kerstin, I want the box around the refrigerator. Okay, no problem. That's the panels. And the reason for those panels is they frame in a very deep 24-inch cabinet above the refrigerator. And if you remember, a lot of older kitchens have like a short depth cabinet above the refrigerator, and people just stack all kinds of stuff on top of the refrigerator, and every time you just have things out in your kitchen, it's just, you know, super frustrating and everything just looks messy. But if you are working on a new kitchen design, make sure you get the deep panels around your refrigerator, and then they can nicely frame in that deep 24-inch cabinet above your refrigerator. And that cabinet is just huge. Like, even if it's just 18 inches deep because of your ceiling height, it's huge. I mean, this is a perfect spot to fit really big soup pans, big trays, and sometimes people are like, oh, it's hard to get something out of there, but really, I love just sticking, I learned this from my mom when I was a kid. I just like to have really deep what do you call them? Almost like Tupperware, like containers, and then you just stick them in there long way. So then you just grab, you pull it out, and then you know you have all your items there. Or use it for really big soup pots. I think that's a really great location for this. Next on the list are tray dividers, and this kind of goes along with that deep cabinet over the refrigerator because I think this is the perfect spot for tray dividers. You simply use part of that cabinet, install some tray dividers, maybe like 3 or 4, and then you can lay your cutting boards and your trays a long way in the back of that cabinet. It's great because you're only grabbing the front to get it out. I think it's the perfect way of using space. Now, another good spot for tray dividers is if you have some kind of weird little cabinet on your base run that you don't know what to do with, that's also a good spot for tray dividers. And again, it's something you can install later on, even though your kitchen is already in place. Next on the list is a little bit of a simpler one, and I would say it's hardware. And I do every now and then get somebody in, they say, hey, my kitchen doesn't have hardware right now. I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily need hardware, and really it's because you probably have older cabinets and they're kind of like those framed cabinets that don't have a full overlay, so there's gapping in between the doors, which makes it easy to grip them. But if you think about how you're using your kitchen, and quite frankly for me, I sometimes have a little bit of dirty hands or something. Next on the list is a sink grid, and I have a sink grid in every single project that I personally do for me, and I always recommend it to all of my customers. And I did a video last week on sinks, and I do have that link below, and it talks all about sinks and, you know, different options for sinks, but especially sink grids, because when you have a stainless steel sink, they are super prone to scratching. So just having that sink grid is going to help the bottom of your sink not scratch. I think it's a little bit more like hygiene friendly because your sink gets to dry fully, your items are not sitting on the bottom, and you don't create any water stains or watermarks. So I love sink grids, and for the fact that how inexpensive they are and what they really do for you, I think it's a complete must-have. And next on the list, because we're talking about sinks, let's talk about the sink base cabinet. This is a cabinet super prone to anything happening to it down the road. And a lot of people say, you know, let me have at least maybe the sink base cabinet in full plywood in case I ever have water damage. But an even better thing to protect your sink base cabinet from any kind of water damage that could happen in the future is a sink liner. And I should have made that like my top 10. Like that's the most important thing I think in every kitchen. Now the trash is pretty important too, but the sink liner, here's a picture of it. It is super affordable. It is something you can still add to your kitchen, but so many people have like cleaning supplies underneath their sink base and they get like grimy, and then the bottom of your sink base gets like grimy and yucky, and having the sink base in place protects the bottom, but also sink liners, I'm sorry, I think I said grid. Sink liners also have little divots, and that's what I love about them. There's little divots in them, and I think the one that I have in my 33-inch sink base holds up to 2 liters of water. And I had the sink connected and something wasn't quite right, and I was running the dishwasher and there was a little leak, and nothing happened to my sink base cabinet because I went in, I had my sink liner, I just wiped it all up, stopped using it, called my plumber and said, hey, we need to take another look at this. It's not quite right. So I just super, super highly recommend a sink. If there's one thing you can do, just put in a sink liner, okay? Number 7, I think we're at number 7, is a silverware divider. And this might be something that's super simple and it's still easy to get even though your kitchen is in place, but I love having a good a good silverware divider. It's a tough word. And when it comes to silverware dividers, there's plenty of some that you can buy online, even though your kitchen's already in. I just always recommend buy it oversized and have it cut down. If there's something I don't like is when my sink, I keep saying sink, is if my silverware divider is too short, too narrow, and then it moves around and I'm constantly opening it and pushing it in place. Make sure you buy it oversized and just cut it into place. Number 9, and this is just my personal preference, but I believe that the best way to store pots and pans for cooking is a drawer base, actually a 3-drawer base. In the very bottom, you have your pots and pans. In the second drawer from the bottom, or the middle drawer, you have all of your lids. And then on the very top, I keep my utensils. And if you can make this big, like a 30-inch or a 36, I have a 36-inch, and that thing is huge. And I have it because I grew up with it, you know, and in my mom's house, we had a cooktop base. We grew up in Germany, and I remember her cooktop base, and it had 2 drawers underneath. That's where we kept all of our pots and pans. So to me, it was the most normal thing. But I think that if you are designing your kitchen from scratch, try to fit in that big drawer base for pots and pans. You technically don't even need the, what are they called? The pegs. I'm so sorry, the pegs. You don't even need the pots and pans like pegs that you can screw in. You can get them down the road if you really feel like you need them, but technically you don't need them for pots and pans. And it's the just nicest, most easy way going of storing. And last but not least, number 10, get as many drawers as you can. Seriously, drawers are the best option that you can put into your kitchen. I understand they cost a little bit more than a regular base cabinet, but when you are working on the cabinet package, really get what you want, because you're just going to regret it later. There's just some things you can't change. For example, switching a regular base cabinet to a drawer base. And to me, it's just everything. So in my kitchen, I have as many drawers as I can get, and I can squeeze into the space because it is absolutely the best use of storage, of space, and I just highly recommend it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. As I mentioned before, I have tons of links for you below on how to add some of these items still later on, even though your kitchen is already in place. And on top of that, if you are working on your kitchen design, incorporating some of these items will really turn your kitchen from just looking nice to actually really functioning like it's supposed to for you guys. All right, I hope you enjoyed it, and leave your comments below, leave your questions below. I'm happy to get back to you guys. And other than that, I'll see you next week. Bye.